Radio Gambia Junction. So lights have also been fixed, and then also, which is of course the solar lights have been fixed on the road. And by August, which is the last month of the contract for battle hardened phase 1 and 2, asphalting would be done. Double layer asphalting will be done from end to end, and also markings on the road will be completed, route markings will be done, and then also all the roads will be fixed with solar light. Now, within the scope of the organization of the OIC, also we've completed the construction of the VVIP, and it is now being fully used. Also, the 20 kilometers of the inside roads. As you know, we are constructing a lot of roads in different 50 kilometers of roads. Yes, 50 kilometers, not 20 kilometers. 50 kilometers of roads being built within the Greater Banjul area, mainly the KMCs and some parts of the West Coast that are closer to the conference activities. Substantial progress has been made in that area also. The new target, we finalized agreements with the Saudi fund, which is working with the government on this particular stretch of roads to give extension for the contractors to finalize. And the reason for this is that, building a road in a heavily built community is extremely very challenging. In addition to services, and when we say services here, we mean water, electricity, and telecom services. We also have, narrow roads that have to be demolished, and then also to give right-of-way access to the contractors. I'm happy to announce that almost on all fronts, demolitions have been completed. Almost 80% of the relocation services have also been completed. In all the existing roads where the contractors are working, relocations have been completed, and now they have full access to the roads, and they are making tremendous progress, as you can see. Beyond the OIC, which is of course a very strong preoccupation of the government, we are also building more than 600 kilometers of roads across the Gambia. You know that last year we signed the EPC project. EPC means Engineering, Procurement and Construction Projects, 365 kilometers across the country. But in addition to that, we have existing projects like the Hakalang, which is 84 kilometers, and then the Kiang West Roads, which is 87 kilometers. And then also we have the Jambur Fara to about 5 kilometers. We also have Kerawan to Njawara, which is completed, about 11 kilometers. And then from Njabakunda going all the way to Salkenye Bani, which is about 16 kilometers also. Then we have the Tujereng, Banyakang, Mariamakunda to Brufut, which is additional 21 kilometers. That is also near completion. So overall, we're making tremendous progress in those fronts. In most of the new projects that we've signed, progress is beyond 40%. In exceptional cases where the contractor is concentrating on multiple fronts, I can tell you that the project's scope is beyond 20% of implementation so far. Now, the famous Hakalang, for your information, is set to be finalized this year, and that one is also asphalt. It's one of the first-class roads we have in that part of the country, for a very good reason, because the water table in the Nyomis is extremely very high. So building a high-quality road that will withstand the test of time is critical for government's infrastructure outlay programs. Now, under the other schemes within the sector, we have also the Gambia Ports Authority, where we are finalizing the negotiations for the signing of the contract for the concessionaire to work with the government of the Gambia for the operation of the Gambia port of Banjul and to build a deep sea port in Sanyang. Hopefully before the end of this month or the first week of May, the contract signing will be triggered, and we are working with a reputable transactional advisory firm based in the Netherlands and some of the offices in the UK and other parts of the world that is working with the government and advising us on critical decision-taking measures. And this firm has worked with more than 10 countries for the concessioning of their port facilities. On the side of the ferry, which of course has preoccupied a lot of news airwaves and also news pages, I can tell you happily that the engineers are seized, working spiritedly across the week to ensure that Kunta Kinte is slipped from the shipyard to start the essential operations on the route. We will inform the public accordingly, but we are hopeful that by the weekend they will do the first test run to determine all the technical issues, and the new engines would have been fixed by the time we start the test runs. Now, in the area of transport, for the information of the media, the Gambia government, through the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, has actually got support from the African Development Bank to do a feasibility study on the process for what we call a transmodal system in this country, where you can have the train, the trams, the BTR system that most of you probably who have been to Dakar have seen it, and also normal transport system within one. So that policy, we've drafted the draft TOR, and we are awaiting the final approval from the African Development Bank so that we can roll this out, and that will actually transform the transport subsector of this country. I think the missing link has been this type of policy. So we are very much ahead of that. Also, the famous Banjul Bara, for the information, the feasibility studies have started. The Gambia government is working with ECOWAS on this very important project, and we will continue to update the public through you, the media, to inform you on the necessary progress regarding this very important undertaking of the government of the Gambia. So, Honorable Minister, I want to take this opportunity to thank you once again. In summary, within the sector, this is what we are doing, and we are also working with the third phase of the battle hardening. At the third phase of the battle hardening, we have just finalized a document submitted to the Islamic Development Bank that will fund the side roads, also the pedestrian bridges, as well as other critical areas that are to be added to the battle hardening, including a possible overhead bridge at the Sukuta-Jabang intersection, and also some additional roundabouts on that stretch of very important road. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, apologies, mea culpa. Multitasking on a Monday morning is not easy, so we have to be here. Thank you, Honorable Minister of Information. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Work. And PS Saidi, DPS Kinte, CEO of OIC Secretariat. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for having us here. And Honorable Minister, you outlined what government is doing in terms of road infrastructure, and then we see that the road is the foundation. Build it and it will come. And then the good thing about Gambia is we are leapfrogging. We are not following the linear development of the West. We are having one of the modern roads using the latest technology. And talking about the transport, just like the energy mix, we also have transport mix, rail, BRT and others. Hopefully we're talking about in Germany and in Saudi Arabia, we're talking about, flug taxis, air taxis, having, air taxi that will be flying. So maybe we should also add that one. We should be thinking, in the future. Thank you very much. Without wasting your time, I'd like to invite the CEO of the OIC Secretariat, Mr. Yankuba Diba, to update us on the activities relating to this important summit this week. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Honorable Sise, Dr. Sise. Good morning, Honorable Minister Silla, PS, Deputy PS, Government Spokesperson, my colleague, Mr. Fali Fadera, the press, our very important partners. I am pleased to be here today and on the eve of the much anticipated summit of 57 heads of state, which is about to happen later this week. I would like to start by supplementing what the Honorable Minister said about infrastructure. Most of you know that the Secretariat has actually been in operation for over 5 years. The first 3 or 4 years have been dedicated to infrastructure development. We have partnered with the Ministry of Works and various other ministries in terms of infrastructure. The minister actually talked about the battle hardening, which was chosen particularly to be able to link the airport with places for accommodation. We have actually indicated that whole area as the OIC impact zone. The OIC impact zone, starts all the way from the airport to somewhere around Cape. Within this area, there has been deliberate efforts to augment the infrastructure. Of course, some of the interventions go nationwide. Among the things that we have actually put in place, we all know the conference center, which was built at the tune of 50 million, and there's a grant from the People's Republic of China. It's up and running. We've given a grant of $32.5 million to NAWEC to improve the transmission of water and electricity. This is an ongoing project. Of course, it's not complete, just like some of our roads projects. The minister talked about the 50-kilometer, which spans over 20 roads spread across the metropolis. Of course, we also have the battle hardening. In addition to that, of course, accommodation was one of the strategic projects that we had, which of course is behind schedule. However, I would like to inform the Gambian population through you that we are 100% prepared to host this summit. The summit is taking place over 6 days period. On the 30th and the 30th of April, 1st of May, is the senior officers meeting, which comprises ambassadors and senior state officials. The second meeting is on the 2nd and 3rd, which will be the ministerial council meeting. And this involves all the 57 ministers of foreign affairs from the 57 member countries. The last 2 days are the 4th and 5th, which is the meeting of heads of state. I want to tell you that this is a governmental activity. The OIC International is organizing it. I want to stress this. OIC International is organizing it. The Gambia is hosting it. The Gambia is a host and is a member of the 57 countries. I'm stressing this point because a lot of people think this is an open kind of meeting where you give out invitations. I want you to clarify this to your readership and your listenership, that this is not open to the public. It is an intergovernmental meeting which is only dedicated to the government agencies, and not even all the government agencies. Government's representation is 1+4. Every government is represented by a head of state and 4 other senior officials. Outside that, no other person. But as host country, we might accommodate a few invitations for the opening ceremony. But throughout the 6 days, it's business, business, business. So I want this to be very, very clear. Over the years, by statute, we were constituted, and then we have organs. Apart from the the secretariat, which runs the affairs of the OIC, we also have different committees. We have 9 standing committees from media, accommodation, transport, protocol, documentation, and the list goes on. These committees were set up to assist the Secretariat in planning and implementing activities that would enhance the smooth implementation of the summit. So currently, all these committees have been working very, very hard. And one thing also I want to stress, because the Gambia government is the host, not a single butut is coming from outside to fund this summit. This summit is 100% funded by the government of the Gambia. And I want this to go on record. Currently, Gambia government has within this year given us well over 400 million to be able to organize this summit. In terms of accommodation, there has been, of course, rumors that some of our guests are going to stay out of this country. I think that's not only fallacious, but it's laughable. We already have more bed space than we can even utilize. Even if we were to receive 5,000 guests in this country, we can comfortably house them, even without the 5-star hotel. Currently, we even have a problem. We can't utilize all the space we have. So I want this to be very, very, very clear that we have adequate space here. The only issue we have is the parking of aircrafts. Our airport cannot handle more than 15 aircrafts at any given time. Plus, there are normal scheduled flights. Therefore, under our cooperation with Senegal, Senegal has been able to graciously permit us to use Yoff Airport as a parking for those heads of state who might want to stay longer. But otherwise, the Gambia has enough space, to handle all the aircrafts coming. In fact, I'm pleased to announce that the first arrival of aircrafts is today arriving from Saudi. It's a 350-seater plane, which is bringing in over 300 delegates today, this evening. And then the Secretary General of the OIC is actually in that plane coming. In terms of transportation, I want to tell you currently we have well over 400 vehicles parked at the GCCI Trade Fair Center. Gambia government has bought 100 brand new SUVs and Mercedes-Benz. That is enough to cater for all our heads of states. In addition, a friendly country has also given us 100 vehicles. They are all parked at the GCCI. Thirdly, the Gambia government has given us over almost 100 million to rent vehicles. So we have additional 100 vehicles, including baggage trucks, pickup trucks, ambulances. They are all parked at GCCI. If the press wants to see, you are invited. You can go there from here. You can go and verify for yourselves. So we do not have any shortage as far as transportation is concerned. In line with our trademark hospitality, the MOU we have signed with the OIC International is 1+5. But I wish to also tell you that we are in a position, we have planned, we have the money, we have outsourced catering to feed all our delegates. Any delegate that is coming in this country, we have enough food to feed all of them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we have no issues with regards to feeding, no issues with regards to transportation, no issues with regards to accommodation. So far, this is the update. As I said, we are ready, and of course, challenges are here and there, but we have surmounted all the challenges. We do not have at the moment anything that could affect the smooth running of this summit. I think, Honorable Minister, so far these are the highlights. I would pause. If you have any information or anything to ask, we are ready to provide you all the answers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, CEO, for that elaborate update. I would like to also acknowledge the presence of my brother, Mr. Mfali Fadera, Head of Branding and Communication ICT. As the famous poet, Paul Coelho said in his work, Alchemist, don't waste your time with explanations. People will only hear what they want to hear. But we still have, as a government, we have a responsibility to explain. There are many versions to a story. As you say, we had all those kind of, interesting stories of, guests landing. So it's all part of the show. But this is very important. It's testing us. As a small country, we have the capacity. So I think this is an opportunity for Gambians to be proud that, we put our country, our entire public infrastructure through a shock therapy, and to show that, we can host the world. And this is good, and then the corollary benefits, the OIC impact I spoke about, that's just the beginning. The corollary, the values of all the properties along this side have gone up. Citizens are benefiting. The construction phase was just challenging, but at the end of the day, they say that, if you want to eat pepe, you have to be ready to stand the heat. So, and at the end of the day, is the benefits, the long-term benefit is what is important. Don't the one week, but the corollary effects, that every Gambia is going to benefit. Thank you. And now we open some questions. Like I say, we are here to update. We may not have time to answer all the questions. Give chance to others. If you have 2 questions, fine. Like I say, we are an open government. You can always ask subsequent question, and there's nothing wrong, because we are guided by authenticity and then fallibility as human beings. So we might not be able to have answers to all the questions. So there's nothing wrong for someone to say, I don't have all the details. You can always follow up. You can contact the ministry. You can contact the spokesperson. The director of OIC branding is here. Minister is here. You can always give you follow-up questions with answers. So you introduce yourself, and then.
My name is, okay, I take a source from GRTS. If you don't use the mic, we don't get the question. So we have to move my mic.
Which one?
If you can come over here.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. So I just have my name is Buba Gajigo, actually. I work for Kerfado. So if you've mentioned about the space at the airport here is not enough. So you're going to receive some of these aircrafts in Yoff, that is Senegal, right? Exactly. So that's if I hear you well. So you're going to receive some of them in Senegal. So if that is the case, how will the transportation be? How are you going to do the transportation from Senegal to the Gambia? So the second question, I have a second question. Probably that will be directed to you as the Minister of Transport. At the border currently, I understand that the cement importers, they are having problem, and their vehicles are not allowed to enter because of the tax that is increased from $30 to $180 per bag. And they are saying this is something that doesn't favor them, and the vehicles are there. At the time, the government said they have allowed the vehicles to come, but they later stopped because according to them, the ministry did not write to the custom there, so they also stopped them from entering. Now they are saying it is because Slam wanted to take cement in Senegal, and the Senegalese authorities refused them entry. So that is the reason why they are stopping these vehicles to come. When I had an interview with them, this is what they told me. Now, what is the agreement with the Senegal government in regards to this? And how are you planning to allow these vehicles to come? And how are you going to lift this new tax that is put on them? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll help you answer both the questions. For your information, all the flights that are bringing in heads of state for the summit are landing in the Gambia first. And then if there is need for, parking, is only parking, yeah, in Dakar, then they will be parked at the Leopold Sédar Senghor Airport, the old airport of Dakar. So no heads of state is like traveling to Senegal, then transport back to the Gambia. No, everybody is coming here first. And as the CEO said, we have parking space for only 15 big aircrafts. And we are expecting more than that. So the excess aircrafts that cannot be parked in the Gambia, of course, will go to Dakar after they drop the guest here in the Gambia. So there is no problem. And for your information, both the Gambia government, through the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, and the Senegalese government have waived all landing and parking fees for any aircraft that is coming for this particular summit. Now, regarding the trucks that are at the Senegal border, or that were at the Senegal border. As far as the briefing that I got from the Honorable Minister of Trade, all the trucks have been cleared, and I think initially it was 68, and now everything is cleared. For one reason, because when this particular policy was pronounced, at that time, most of those truck owners have already purchased the cement and they were on the way to the Gambia, or they have already paid the fee for the cement in a local bank in Senegal. Because, you know, the way the Senegalese operate in this trade is that when you come from the Gambia and you want to buy the cement from any of the factories, you have to go and pay, you know, the money into a local bank, and you go with your receipt or pro forma to the cement factory and then to the customs, then they will raise the necessary paperwork. And all the 68 that actually were at the border have been able to prove that purchase was made well before this pronouncement was made. And as a result, of course, I mean, naturally, this government believes in rule of law and justice, so they allowed them to pass.
So when was this? Because they are complaining again that the government has stopped.
Well, I mean, if you as
ministers.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you buy, let me just complete. If you go into a new transaction after the pronouncement of the policy, of course you are bound by the new rules. But all those who actually bought, you know, the product or have paid into a local bank account and they had their receipts, of course, naturally they are allowed. So I'm not aware of the new development. Maybe I will have to liaise with the Honorable Minister of Trade. The Minister of Information is here. Probably you can work with him on that. Okay, all right, thank you.
I think that's a new development. And you know, as in our world, things happen very fast. So for now, we cannot give you any information.
This happened since last week.
No, that's not possible. That's not possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
No, it's not possible.
I had an interview with this cement importer.
But last week was when we had the 68 trucks.
No, that's what I'm telling you.
That's what I'm saying. No, from last week. Yes.
Week, Wednesday.
Yes.
So, yeah,
those 68 trucks were already cleared.
So
now the new batch of trucks you are talking about, if it was yesterday, that is new development. What I'm saying is that the first batch of 68 trucks that were at the border were all cleared last week. They all got in. Now, to give enough time for notification, that was the issue, because it's always fair, like it's always natural to notify, because there are people who buy their cement in advance. It's unfair to them for you to charge them on the spot without giving them notification. So as far as I'm concerned, those 68 that came to the border and were told to pay the increased fee, they were all cleared and they all passed paying the old fee. Now, if there is a new tranche of trucks parking there today, this is a new development, we are not aware of it. We'll engage the Minister of Trade after this press conference and we'll give you information on that.
All right, thank you. I have for this, what I give guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. As we say in law, audi alterem partem. You listen to the other parties too. We live in the 21st century where information is fluid. So we cannot control what is the fluidity of info. All we can do is to fact check. As a government, you know, we have to ensure that our information is credible and authentic and reliable, because whatever we say has an impact on the life of the citizens. That's why. So you may have certain information, but for us, we have to go through a whole value chain, standard operating procedure to ensure that the information is reliable enough before coming forward. And as the minister said, we'll do background checks and I will update the citizens accordingly. Any more questions? Yes. Yeah.
I'm Louis Mendy, working with GRTS, and my question goes to the Honorable Minister and probably the OIC Secretariat. We understand that for the media coverage of the OIC, RTS is taking the lead role in collaboration with GRTS, and that the government has already paid RTS for this package. So we want some clarification on that.
You want me? You can answer that.
Okay. I can answer the second. Yes. Let me clarify, because I'm part of the ministerial committee that actually works with the various sectors on media, infrastructure, and accommodation, a whole lot of. We have not paid RTS for anything. to come and work with the JRTS on technical support. And those of you who know anything about international media event coverage, you will see that it is completely normal that host media houses do collaborate with bigger, experienced, and well-resourced international or national media houses to provide coverage of an event of this magnitude. To give you an example, for example, in 2014, when Senegal was covering the Francophonie, it was Studio Tech of Dakar that not only provided the equipment in terms of working relationship with Senegal, but they provided the technical backstopping. And all of you who are here, you can fact check this. In the just concluded African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire, you have all seen the national telecoms company, the national media of Cote d'Ivoire was being backstopped by Studio Tech of Belgium. And they provided the OB van, the 16 cameras, and also some of the, what we call motion cameras, and they provided the technical backstopping. In Cameroon also, some of you who were there, to cover the Africa Cup of Nations, you have seen the technical backstopping provided to the Cameroon television by, Studio Tech. In Niger, and also in Mali, when they organized the Francophonie, which our newly elected President Barrow attended, the entire technical backstopping and some key camera works were done by Studio Tech. So this is normal in international media, except those who don't understand how international media scenes work. In fact, even what we are doing here, Al Jazeera, the BBCs, and all the others that are coming with their equipment, they will be taking source from the JRTS. And then they will be doing their own individual interviews, but any source and feed that they are going to get from the conference and about the conference from the conference hall is going to be provided by JRTS. So this is normal. This is normal in international broadcasting. When you look at, for example, President Biden or any US president's press conferences, you see only one mic. But technical backstopping is provided by somebody somewhere so that all the media houses can get the feed. So it is absolutely normal that these things happen in international events coverage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I think one thing to confirm is that JRTS or the Gambia government or the OIC Secretariat is not paying RTS 1 cent to provide technical support. Remember, this is an international event, a global event. Therefore, we need global partnerships to make it happen. All these big media houses in the world you see are coming to cover this event. They're all taking feed from JRTS. And also, even the local media houses here, the QTVs, the Paradise, the Eyeafrica, they are all on board to make sure we have a proper coverage plan and deliver the OIC summit in terms of coverage. So this is normal when you have such an event to have international partnership and collaboration to make it happen. But to confirm, we are not paying JRTS. They are coming to give technical support, but JRTS is taking the lead insofar as coverage of this OIC is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to supplement what you just said. As I indicated earlier, the OIC Secretariat is a coordinating organ. We are there for every aspect of government that is required to make this summit a success. You must have had some payments, and this is why maybe Dr. they are saying, but let me make it very, very clear. I announced here that the Gambia government is bankrolling every activity in this. Hence, we look at sections that require support. GRTS, as the two honorable ministers said, is the organ of the government, assigned the role to be the lead in this process. Therefore, if they have difficulties, it behoves on the Gambia government to support them. The honorable minister championed an initiative. GRTS wanted support in the area of media center and of course cameras to be able to provide, good coverage. And Gambia government obliged and gave $32 million to GRTS Maybe this is the payment you people are talking about. That 32 million did not go to Senegal, it did not go anywhere. It went to GRTS to be able to give them the capacity to be able to do their job. Of course, the collaboration with Senegal is not new. This was since our independence. There are various areas of collaboration. And as the two honorable ministers said, you know, at times like this, the cooperation of all countries is brought to bear to make sure, because the Ummah comprises 57. That's what you know. There are other collaborative efforts that are making this possible that we do not necessarily have to tell you. So thank you very much. This is the clarification.
Thank you very much. As I say, Gambia is not an island, and we live in a global village. And this one, look at your ngentes and the ceremony in a small context. The neighborhood, everybody comes and chip in one or two things. So look at that. This is the global aspect of that one. So having our neighbors, our friends, you know, coming to support us. Other countries have been supporting our security forces. I mean, it's part of the global solidarity. It's part of the game. And I think all the information you read that now, Gambia is the host institution and GRTS is the host media, and it's going to provide the basis and also the feed accordingly. And yeah, it is imperative to understand that, you know, we live in a global village. Solidarity, whenever we want to do something, it's always good to welcome partnership and collaboration. Any more questions?
Good afternoon. This is Mohamed Lamin Choi from QTV. I have a question to the OIC Chief Executive. You talked about over 400 vehicles already available and now at the GCCI ground, hundreds of which were provided by a friendly country. We would want to know which country. Secondly, how much is the global estimate in terms of budget for the hosting of the OIC summit? And what percentage of which, you know, in terms of sources, loans and grants, percentage of which, you know, we want to understand the percentage in terms of loans and grants. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Choi. I just eavesdropped into the murmuring of the Honorable Minister. If you want to consider the budget of the OIC in general, as I said, we are a coordinating agency. So you have to calculate the roads and everything. Yes. When we started, we had, we recommended a budget of $500 million. Okay? But I can confirm to you, as at now, if you consider the package of the roads and also the events planning, we are very, very close to that figure. And you see, let me say something about this battle hardy. The minister explained that the battle hardy is an EPC project. When we started with 71 million. And the first tranche of money that was committed is 26 million by the Gambia government. Gambia government put in 26 million, then the other donors came in with grants and loans. So the Gambia government is the biggest contributor as far as our road projects are concerned. Yes. So if you come to the OIC operational budget itself, let me also clear that the Secretariat has been founded by the Gambia government, but is funded by the Saudi government. When I say it's funded, that means our salaries, our running costs, and, you know, stuff like that are being paid for by the Saudis. But in terms of infrastructure, in terms of events planning, that's 100% Gambia government. 2 years ago, we submitted a budget. We had a national convergence, and we submitted a budget of 1.9 billion. Okay? But what was approved by our board was 507 million earlier this year. Dollars. When this went to the National Assembly, they appropriated 300 million. You know, so that goes to show you how much the Gambia government has committed to this national project. But in terms of the events planning, as I said earlier, not a single butut has been funded from outside. Everything is funded by the Gambia government. Yeah.
Differently country. Differently country.
Oh, you wanted to know? Okay. I'm happy to announce that the Islamic Republic of Mauritania loaned us 100 vehicles, and they are already here.
They gave us free.
No, that's like on loan. We use them after the summit. We take them back. Yes. We also rented 100 vehicles. That money was provided by the Gambia government. But in addition, the Gambia government bought 100 brand new SUVs, 100 and sedans. So it's worth noting also that the Gambia government has always been the lead, and others follow. Thank you.
You know, you ask about the projects, and I have to dispel this highly misleading notion that I've seen being circulating in social media and even in some talk show programs that the Gambia is building these roads thanks to gifts from Saudi and other countries. I can tell you that we are the biggest financiers of the battle-hardened highway. If I can give you a breakdown, for example, the Gambia government alone has paid $35.8 million, both on phase 1 and phase 2 of battle hardening. And the BADIA, which is the Arab Bank for Development, contributed 20 million, which is 19%. Ours is 34%. BADIA is 20 million, representing 19%. The Kuwaiti Fund paid 19.9 million, also representing 19%. And the Islamic Development Bank contributed 28.9 million. In total for phase 1 and 2 is 104 million. For your information, when this project was costed initially, it was 150 million. We could not raise that amount. We had 71 million, so we said, let's do it according to phases. So right now we are going for phase 3. That hopefully will actually help us reach the entire amount. So even when phase 3 comes, based on our contributions, Gambia government will still be the highest contributor. And none of these contributors are giving us any grant, although they are giving us concessionary loans, which means that 30% of the 100% loan will have to be grant. So the 50 kilometers also for the Islamic Development Bank, for the Saudi fund, actually is not also a gift. It's a loan that is going to be paid for by the Gambia government. So I want to take this opportunity to thank the OIC Secretariat, the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, plus the Office of the President, for the wonderful mobilization efforts that they have done in helping us achieve all this within a very short period of time. So when you report from today, just tell anyone that this is a Gambia government-led process, and it is the Gambia government that is leading all other financiers and lenders in this project. Now, if you look at also the OIC, because you're talking about grants and loans. I mean, the secretariat also, the conference center was a grant from the Chinese government to the tune of $15 million, all right? And also the VVIP, 10.5 million was also from the Saudis. You know, and that's a loan.
32.5 million
for the NAWEC and water electricity expansion project. That one was a grant, 32.5 million. So really, overall, a lot of money has been used to help, galvanize all the efforts to develop the country in preparation for the OIC. I have had an audio circulating all over. A lot of people sent it to me by a former Minister of Works that he and Yahya Jammeh went to Qatar, and then they raised the funds to build a 2-lane highway for the OIC, and also additional further grants, to organize the conference. This is completely false. It is not true. All right. Kuwait, the Qataris have not participated directly in the building of the roads. And yes, I mean, BADIA is a consortium of representing Arab countries. Maybe their funds are there. But these mobilization efforts and all other activities that you are seeing now started from 2018, well after the change of government. So he should tell us where the fund from Qatar went, and also the plan, because they planned for 2 lanes and we built 3 lanes. 6 lanes, with overpasses and roundabouts, solar lights and all over. So he should tell us. I think, people should stop playing to the gallery. This is an event that is going to be the benefit of everybody. So all Gambians should come together and celebrate the success of the people of this country, led by the government of the Gambia, to organize a conference that is going to be an inspiration to all other small countries around the world, that yes, they too can do it. Thank you.
I just want to buttress what the Honorable Minister said. I was at the OIC Secretariat from inception. In 2018, when we started, we had no money to even pay salaries. It's the Gambia government, against the promise of the Saudis, that actually gave us our first loan of 20 million to be able to pay salaries. Then the Saudi sponsorship came. And what the Honorable Minister is saying, I'm talking authoritatively because we founded the place. Not a single dime, not a single butut was available. Not for salaries, how much more for any infrastructural project. But I want to seize this opportunity to also recognize the efforts and support of some of our friendly countries. I made mention of Mauritania, but I want to say a big thank you to the Kingdom of Morocco. Kingdom of Morocco has actually capacitized help in many, many areas. And as we speak, they provided the funds for the feeding of all the heads of state and the ministers. There is currently a catering company that has brought in 10 40-foot containers from Morocco and 110 staff to partner with Gambian chefs and waiters to serve our distinguished guests. Apart from the feeding at the conference, every head of state is allocated a dedicated chef and a team of waiters. So that's something I want to place on record. Turkey also has trained well over 3,000 Gambian security men, and they've provided equipment and so many things. So he's one of our biggest guests coming. President Erdogan is due in this country, and I can assure you he's coming up with over 200 people. He's coming with 3 planes alone, with 200 people. Okay, I also want to place on record that the Qataris have donated us $1 million. And the Kuwaitis also have donated us $200,000. That is just for the organization of the conference. Okay? These are all monies that have been approved. They are yet to hit our account, but so far the Gambia government has bankrolled everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have a saying that when a child is successful, everybody will claim ownership. And then when the child becomes wayward, they blame the mother. So now there have been a lot of negative comment that Gambia cannot host the OIC, Gambia will not host the OIC. Now that it's happening, people are coming up, everyone wants to be accredited with the success. Now we invite as a gender parity, we have 2 ladies.
Okay, I'll come first.
Okay, anyway, she's closer to the river and drinks first.
So thank you very much. My name is Aisa Tukuli. My question goes to the Honorable Minister of Works. You made Gambian Talents. So you made mention of the Hakalang Road, which is currently ongoing, but maybe likely it will be done this year. But you did not mention which day or which month will it be. And also, the second question is, what is the setbacks in the 50 kilometer of the OIC roads that that makes some of the works delayed, or slow in terms of ahead of the summit? Thank you.
Thank you. Since we are talking about the OIC, let me start with the last question. Yes, indeed, we experienced some delays in the execution of the 50 kilometers of OIC roads, but for specific reasons. Until now, hardly proper planning has been done in any of our, built-up cities. The problem is that you go to some of these areas where we are building, the OIC roads, probably with the exception of some areas in Kanifing. If you go to Sukuta, if you go to Burfoot, if you go to Talinding, the Latrikundas, the Joko Johnson, you will see that the compounds are very close to each other, not more than 6 meters. And for the OIC road corridors that we are building, we need 7 meters for the road proper, 1.5 meters for the shoulders on either end. So that means that you need to have between 10 and 11 meters. Now, if you have a situation where the roads are less than 7 meters, you have to do a lot of the demolition. I can tell you in some streets alone, the demolition cost is way beyond $35 million. So this is a very, very expensive project. And to demolish, you have to follow the law. You have to first come and do a survey, identify the places to be demolished, then do the markings on the compounds. You go and engage the landowners, do a community sensitization, and then do the costing. And that costing also, in some cases, when you give it to the yard owners and then they disagree, you have to, allow them to do their own valuation. Some of them will even take you to court. And then you have to, the injunction will be placed on you for you to wait for the final determination of those court cases. Then beyond that also, you have what we call relocation of services. You have water, electricity, and, Gamtel telecoms pipes and cables, all on this road corridor. And you cannot build a road on this. And what used to happen in this country was that people will have services on one side of the road. So if you are on the right-hand side of the road, you have water, electricity, and the other pipes there, then the others on the left-hand side will have to cut the road so that they can get the services. So this time what we are doing is that we are providing these services on either side of the road, and that is why we are building brand new infrastructure for NAWEC and also for Gamtel. So that actually is part of the delays. And any deviation from the original plan also will have to go through a tedious planning and renegotiation with the consultants, the donor, and also the client, which is the government. So really, building in a built-up community is extremely very, 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 very difficult. We have agreed with the funder, which is the Saudi fund, to extend the project, because this is not the first time that they have done this type of projects. They have done it in Senegal, in Bangladesh, and many other places, and they know that in urban communities it is always a problem, especially for most developing countries. There is hardly very good urban planning. So they have understood. We finalized some 2 months ago. I led the discussion with my technical team and the NRA, and of course the OIC Secretariat and the Ministry of Finance. We agreed among ourselves that we give another extension to the project so that most of the roads will be finished this year. But in case that is not happen, because of the rainy season also is fast approaching, we are giving up to May of next year. We are likely going to finish everything, but it's just to ensure that all roads are completed within the new schedule of time. Thank you. Yes, the Hakalang, the famous Hakalang, we are now able to Kalang Hakalang. That I can tell you. Because from Bunyadu, which is section 1, all the way to Kuntaya, we have done all the artwork, and then the last course is done, and they have done asphalting from Bunyadu to kilometer 33. All right. So we are hopeful that by end of June, that particular section will be fully asphalted, but it also has to depend on the cash flow. It's very expensive to do asphalt. Then you have the other sections, section 2 and section 3, which is from Buffalo to Bangali. And also from Albreda to the other end, going to Kerawan Road. The main road coming from Bara to Kerawan. So from those who are from that part of the country will tell you, from Albreda all the way, that is about 15 kilometers. That will be completed maybe October, November. So we are very hopeful that, and we are on target for the extension that was given to the contractor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's always be careful, to be careful when it comes to projects, with dates. I remember some major projects, they've always been shifting. I remember when we were building the major airport in Germany. Yes, it took 5 years with all their modern technology, because it's so complex and so sophisticated that, it is always advisable, especially for politicians, to be careful when giving dates. If not, they'll come for you. I'll also recommend that, the media, the director of branding is here to go on a tour to look at the beautiful phalanx of vehicles there to see what's happening. At least that will provide impressive picture of what's going on. Yes. So maybe you can arrange a tour to see all the infrastructure that are in place, and it will look very beautiful on the highway, and then they will stay here and also add value to our public. They will have a lot of good quality vehicles serving the population after the summit. That's very good. Lady, you've been on the waiting list for long. You need to come up. Yeah. No, you need to, the source, GRTS, the mother source. They need your beautiful. That's going to be the last question for the day. Oh, you want? No, I'm the chairman. No, so you appeal. Should I grant his appeal? Okay, good.
I am Janke Sise from The Point newspaper, and my question, one of which is answered, but I also want to know what is the level of compensation for those affected by the construction of these OIC roads.
Thank you so much. Compensation is ongoing. Just to tell you that in Bigelow area alone, when we did the property valuations, one section of the road alone, I think we were to pay 34 million. And in December of last year, we provided about $17 million to the NRA, and only 2 million was paid out of this. You know why? Because the problem is most of the compounds within the Greater Banjul area, the actual owners have either died, or the people who are actually claiming ownership of it, they don't have the titles. The titles are not in their names. And for us, we cannot pay compensation to anyone whose name is not on the title. Or if we are to pay you and your name is not on the title, the entire family have to give you the power of attorney. And it is power of attorney that will now be assessed, and then you sometimes even you go through the Ministry of Justice, and then there's a curator's office. It's a whole complex process. Some of the people who were coming to claim ownership of these places for compensation, when we cross-check, there's a whole section at my ministry responsible for that. It is not them whose names are on the lease documents. So you will send them to bring those necessary documents. And remember, monies are not paid from us. Payment vouchers are raised, and then they are sent to the Treasury, and the Treasury will send it to the central bank. So the central bank will pay it directly into the beneficiary's bank account. The reason why we doing this was because when this government came in newly, some of the compensations that were paid, especially for the demolitions that took place in Brikama, going to Jamisa and other places, actually the previous government refused to pay compensation. So some of the people who rose to claim that they own the compounds and compensation was paid to them, it was later found out that in fact they were not the rightful people whose names were on either the lease or the Alcalos designated papers. So that is why now we are saying whoever is claiming ownership of a property demolished, and during our sensitizations we always do this. Now, some will give their names, because when demolition teams go, what happens is when they find people there, they'll say, okay, this is our compound. So who's supposed to be the claimant? They put your name there. But when it comes to the actual payments, we are still having about $13 million is lying there, going through very tedious process, because this thing will go through a proper audit system. So we have to make sure that we follow the rules and regulations. And let me take this opportunity also to appeal to the people that within the family setup, let them also amicably resolve issues there, because sometimes you see families are from different, mothers. The father may be the title owner of the compound, but when people are from different mothers, sometimes the difficulty is who should take the lead for his or her name to be on the claimed, papers, for the claimants to be, for the claims to be paid to them. So, and you'll see that you can see 2 or 3 people can come. We have had these problems in Joshua. 2 or 3 people can come and claim to be the owners of the property. So really, the delay, yes, we have delays in terms of allocation to us, because we have to depend on the Ministry of Finance to get the allocation to us to be able to pay the property owners. But significant delays also are coming from the people themselves, the affected property owners themselves, because you have to have the right person whose name is on the property, or a power of attorney given to you by the entire family, signed by them, certified by either the JP or somebody recognized under the law to be able to help us or enable us process the payments. Thank you.
Honorable Minister Dongo, this portion is so important that I would like you to explain it in the local language. Going forward, we'll be entertaining questions in local language. English is our official language, but that is not a measure of intelligence. We have to make sure a government message is trickled down to the last man. And this portion I find is so important, so crucial, that I would like you to elaborate in any of the local languages that the critical mass can understand.
Okay, coming for angale kawala min keta compensation od wala mol min yalon ko sila doku ela kordal ma andu masakunda nyanta kejo process o nyinka kenya me wala nyenti janning kordal fanga be boyla sila doku lal kanale sumandiroke parce que silo nyin mitar warawla wala nyanta kela siloti bari mol nyanta tamala silo la damil ke ka me shoulders mitar killing anin talante bulubala mitar killing anin talante marala. So minka ke iba jela ko silo sulata minna wolom 11 meters ti because ne 10 meters ta wolom silo ti ani soldiers 1 meter fana ka soto mi yalon ko ka wota pour gamtel la pipe hole nawek la pipe hole ila jioni courant ani polol fana nyanta lola dami ne wo ke ba mako kala je itala korda de nyim meter nangam karin sulata walla je ibe mako kala bala ibe la tele be dunna korda ko ne be la telephone number tala ne la telephone number ta isna saying e lungo londi ini mol be na kacha nka alkalol bulawol tolol nka sefol bulaje nka national assembly member bulaje nka lawyer fana bulaje mi yalon ko woli luwalon ne nka engineer fana bulaje anin na ministry la dokulal so nin tatan se mol sensitize ka fo kabri nata la ministry of local government min yalon ko wolle ka property valuation ni ko tolbi ka woke so ni wolle property sa fo ko ila nyin korda nangamo nyin nga nyim mitar nangamo minta akanyanta nyin na fembe jola min natan ni man d'accord dol katale ye fansu loyalta ne o loyalta ye nana ya fo control manson de na senake dia moti kachati mi ya lon ko pour se ben nim man ben kanto isaje kordati ni start kitiela asa fo nyokal do ko lon do la ma fa lam bika fenke jem bambatal fo kiti ni ya banfolo sina nin kambenta joro na nyingi bar problème o mi ya lon ko ka soto joro la karola wala nyinti mo jamal bije min ya lon ko surtout na jamma fa la parce que ngalon ne korda jamal bije siara sanje tan lultini dol sanje taw woro fan a meta min yo korda lo mil tolbe kayto bala jama wol dol fatale wala imantara banko kan so min ka ke problème oti dingol min kataraje wala mamari wol min kataraje itol korda la list kayto bala min to kataraje ani min kana ka foko tol tam kordati pour kana ka compensation fund nyin ka request e bi ka ke kilinti yo an toldu ni natanan ni to min to kayto min be korda bala ani to min natanan pour kana claim ke ni wol man kilin don ka fay kon te jolano albital be nyinne kala se min fo wolom nyinti baaw nin kordati mantara balurin wata albe sta ali kambeng e power of attorney di mo kilina wolon ka sembo di mo kilina pour kana kanyin kodo kanin ni woketa wo mari binala le abitala mo be milta mo mil ka fo ko tolleta mo kordati be ba sayna le la ID card number print je eta ya samba JPA wolon justice of peace ya sambo ya wala momi ya lon ko man sakunda la loi telti ni woli ya sign ya certify ina ya samba nan tol kan tol sina joroke ba ni wo kaytol man soto aka ke problem do be tango minto Gambia man sakunda mbe for example ni tata jibe bijilo nga million tanni warula hayma kabirin serno dizamba karo pour ka joroke bar wo ko do nyin kono million fula da mala jotano parce que mol min ya lon ko be nata nan ka fa koy tallum kordati tol man tara korda kaytol nyil bala so woka ken dol fanara problem oti delay nyin tonya dol fana ka kolea do soto parce que antol la ministry nyin amanke ko do ka bo jande ko do ka bo finance la yadin tol la ministry of finance ne yadinna den sina ngamol itandi la ko do soto tale ala safaro ko pour aller joro nyin the problem is ning wo ko do nyin fana nata nan tol ko do bi ka tarantol la jang akatara treasury le ida la payment claim nyin mbe kambenta minna mbe ma min satisfy mbe wala dilela ila kayto nyi ya samba nga samba treasury ya kawdi central bank ya jola bank account to mbika mojo cash wo bika ka ko na ko do jorosi madi la hani ka bank account to soto e ko do jeje pour sama ning kiskisurol be kala ning ko dol dunta nyaming isaja be se senaya so mbe mol fana dan la wala min ya lon ko korda bal ila korda tiel mantara baluring puri fana salo wo nyama dile do bije wo ka ken mol tati bar dile do bije wo ka ken tol fana bara dile bora ma ba fon wala mi nyinti ka kamben pour que joro fana nyante kala nyaadile jamala nyanta jola kaytol be nyaadile ningo be bondi nyoto bete mbo min to dol fanga bije itoli tol min din tol la min be safari tolto ila ID ka tolto nin tol min be hannata ko ni ko yanku badiba YNKUBA dol sa YNKOUBA so ba jela nin kilim mankita dron mbika joro ko fongata nga authorization soto it's a very complex process because modo sa fa no lente mo yanku balete bar min be safari kayto bala YNKUBA lam bari tala ID card kuto bala min bije maybe letter kilin dasata je wala kilin lafata je wo fana mbika wojo fonga proper authorization soto anda ka ke tedious process ni net so be molbe hako dan la sultu property tel min ya lon ko hansa ila ko dol nyanta jola bar ko ila ko dol manjo ban sa foy ko man sakunda step tale ko do surtout bijilo ma fa wala mbina munang joswa ma fa kan nim finance be kacha kan pour sa jeno nyami min nyanta jolan sebe jo bari si kata yela kaytol nying ya put intact ala baraka
baraka ba ke nyinto ko akumata jama buka visa so because it talks for kaiti ID card yankuba passport to yanks you know ulu kaito za for za for todo final question in English or in which language? In English. All right,
okay. Okay, he's also appealing that he want to ask one. Thank you very much. I am Modu Elbaji from Star TV. And my question goes to the Minister of Works. We understand that a lot of money is being invested to boost the capacity of NAWEC, but still our electricity condition situation is still erratic. So I don't know, how are you going to assure the delegates? In fact, yes, this is just a sign of indicating how erratic our electricity system is. So I don't know, what is the level of preparation at NAWEC level in making sure that they come to a level that we will not see them going on and off during these days of the summit.
First, let me clarify that I'm not Minister of Energy. I have very basic information about NAWEC. But what I know is, for example, at the Banjul International Airport, we have boosted additional plants for electricity. For example, at the VVIP, where most of the international guests will pass through for the OIC summit, I can assure you that we have additional generator with the capacity to go 24 hours even without relying on NAWEC. At the international, and also we have a new transformer basically dedicated to the international, to the VVIP at the airport. Now, the airport itself has two other additional generators for the terminal and also for the apron. Now, when you come to the OIC, the Secretariat also has two brand new generators that will interface with NAWEC, but for purpose of ensuring that we don't have any kind of pricking or any issue, they are going to be on generator while the conference is on. Now, all the other places where our presidents will be staying, our VIPs will be staying, they also have additional standby generators. So we don't have any problem when it comes to that. But I mean, issues are issues. I mean, nobody can assure 100% when it comes to machines. I mean, that I think we all have to understand. But government has taken all the necessary steps to ensure that we mitigate some of those issues.
Final last question. Let me just add on to that. I think going forward, I think the question also about, with all this money invested, yes, how will we change electricity situation? I remember since independence, we have not done any meaningful investment in the energy sector, and zero investment in the water sector. Zero in terms of infrastructure. Now, most of the grid is old and outdated. The water infrastructure is old and outdated. Now, through the government of His Excellency President Amabaro now, we are going to modernize the grid. Hundreds of millions of dollars are being invested right now through the OIC project, but also through other projects to modernize the entire grid. And most of the transformers are so old that when it's too hot, they go up. These are old transformers. So, and development planning is long term. If you want to control the energy sector in 10 years, you start that work now, because these are long-term projects. So now government is investing in the grid, Currently, as we speak, energy generation will not be a problem by 2024. Through solar projects, we are producing 200 megawatts of electricity, more than what Gambia needs, through Jambanjeli, Soma, all these green solar projects. And we modernize the grid. Currently, the grid, when you send energy to the grid, before it reaches your house, we lost 25%. It's called system loss, at big cost to government. Currently, we are using heavy fuel to light our generators. These are old generators. By 2024, as per universal access, this will change. We'll use green energy, we'll modernize the grid, and we'll have what they call universal electricity for every Gambian. And that this work is going on. And these are long-term projects, just for your information. Thank you.
Yeah, and we also have the OMVG project, which is ready as backup, you know. So I'm sure once the distribution system is up to task, it will be connected and we'll have 24/7 uninterrupted. The final question for the day.
Thank you very much. My name is Yahya Jammeh from the West Coast Radio. Seeing is believing. This morning, as I bought a vehicle driving from the turntable to this particular place to attend this press conference, I realized that a lot of work with regards to the road between Airport Johnson to at least the conference center is not completed. The lanes are not drawn, you know. I passed the servicemen, thanks to them, we thank them for their services, doing the cleaning and all of that. Are we expecting in 5 days' time or 6 days' time, the OIC conference will be held here in the Gambia? Are we expecting the completion of at least from the Airport Johnson to the OIC conference center to be completed in terms of painting of the pavements and drawing of the lanes and all of that? That is what I want to ask.
Thank you so much. As you can see from the airport, they have almost passed the what we call the Costa Road overhead bridge for the lanes. You know, they are already on that, and you know that does not take time. I mean, we are very hopeful that the lanes will be ready. I mean, the markings, which we call route markings, will be ready in time for the OIC conference. Now, you are talking about the cleanliness of the roads. I think, you know, you, the media, should also help here. I mean, these roads have been actually cleaned more than 3 times since the first asphalt layer and the second one being laid. You know the biggest problem? You have trucks that are carrying sand from Banjul to the Combos, because the greater majority of the people of this country, you know, do live in the Combos. Or what we call the Greater Banjul area. So you have more than 100 trucks carrying sand on a daily basis. And most of them, their trucks are not covered. So as they drive on fever pitch on these roads, you know, a lot of sand drips. All right? And as a result, you'll see sand build up on the very edges of the roads. Right now, we are cleaning again. And that is why we appeal to the transport union and other critical stakeholders within the transport ecosystem to at least give us space for this next 4 days, 5 days, up to the end of the conference, to enable the trucks to use alternative routes to avoid the roads being, you know, dirty with sand again. That is the only solution. Now, as part of our ongoing efforts to, you know, work on all these problems, we have already bought, you know, cleaning machines, you know, clearing machines that will, you know, regularly be using, you know, the battle hardened from end to end, you know, now and even after the conference, you know, it will be given to a facilities management company to actually on a daily basis, on a regular basis, clean the road. 2, we'll deploy the other one from Banjul all the way to Westfield, and Westfield going through Latrikunda to the Talindings and to, you know, to the Yundum airport intersection that you have the dual carriage, so that, you know, we can reduce. Evidently, this should have been the work of the municipalities. All over the world, it is the municipalities that clean the roads. But you should also ask, what are your municipalities doing? Why are they not doing the simple thing of cleaning the roads? Why are they not doing that? I think you should also ask that question. I can assure you that as a ministry, we have equipped our NRA now to be complementing the municipalities. But for God's sake, the municipalities should also use the little money that they are collecting from the people, from taxpayers, to also clean the roads.
Just an addendum, Honorable Minister. There has been widespread speculations, and as media, we don't believe in speculations. So we want clarity. Many people believe that the OIC road project will probably stop the moment the OIC confidence is over. Is there any
well, I can assure you that this project is going all the way to August. That's our contract period with the contractor. So of course, because this phase 2 is almost completed and we are going into phase 3. What I can assure you is that this will continue until the rest. However, roadworks is actually an ongoing thing because when you build the roads, you have to also build in maintenance cost and also maintenance mechanisms. So even after the OIC, the building will continue to its
logical conclusion, and also that we will continue to clean the road, to maintain the road, to ensure that the quality and the standard is maintained on that stretch. Thank you.
Thank you. I can confirm that the workers, they work 24 hours. The other day I was traveling at night from the airport. I see that they are working. So with the energy that they are working, I'm sure that they'll be able to finish the most critical part. We've come final announcement from the Honorable Minister. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Works, OIC Secretariat, CEO, and Fali, Head of Branding, and the PS, and everyone who is here, DPS. Thank you very much, our able chair of this meeting. I just have a few announcements to make. But before I make that announcement, I just want to compliment what Honorable Minister was saying about the third phase of the OIC roads. That is yet to happen, and that one will include building overhead bridges for public safety. As you can see, the way the highways are now, it's difficult for people to cross from one side to the other, isn't it? The third phase will have overhead bridges, over 17 overhead bridges for people to cross for public safety. But also, there will be service roads on the side, which will be slapped to the almost people's houses or inside the streets, so that the whole place is clear. That is the third phase of the road, just for your information. The second thing is, going forward, we would also like to ensure that this press conference has elements of the local languages. We'd also urge you that please ask some of your questions in the local languages. We'll try as best as possible to also answer those questions in the local language for the benefit of those who cannot understand English. The third thing is the sign language. Almost 15% of Gambians live in one form of disability, where a lot of people who are have hearing impairment or visual impairment. It's not fair for us to have this information and they don't have access to it. Now, as part of our mandate as Ministry of Information, is for every Gambian to have access to information, no matter your disability. So going forward, we'll talk with, I'll engage the PS to ensure that there is a sign language person here to ensure that those who can't hear or see are also getting access to this information. Now, every 2 weeks, we'll call you. We'll ensure that there is someone from one technical ministry. Today we have Works, CEO, Secretariat is here because of the recent, you've seen the President was out on Saturday looking at inspecting all the road works, just to give you updates as to the status of that, but also the state of preparedness for the OIC conference. So next, in 2 weeks' time, we'll get another technical minister to come. When we write you to invite you, we'll inform you which minister is coming so you can also prepare your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Local language is very important. So most of us are going to fail our local language exams. Anyway, thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Information, Honorable Minister of Work, PS, Information, DPS, CEO, Mr. Diba Palifadera. Ladies and gentlemen, see you in 2 weeks or whenever feasible. Thank you very much for your patience and understanding. Thank you very much.